All right, so we've got a age-old problem. It seems like it looks like it might start getting worse instead of better. So this fountain is part of what's called Donald Trump Square in Petah Tikva, Israel. Activists, basically they turned the rivers red over there, hinting that there's going to be violence if Israel continues to annex more of the West Bank, right? This is a very, very sad situation where people are, fighting over the same scrap of land. I don't really know the details. If I was in Israel's shoes, I'd probably keep with what I had and try to find peace that way. There's no need for annexing more because those people that are living there, they also have a say in the matter. And if you can't share, you got to figure something out because people are there and their lives matter and everything's involved. So this is a story by one of our members. She's very big about this issue. Now I'll tell you what it is. I mean, me personally, I have family living in Israel and in the Israeli military and things like that. But that's just a reality. They didn't choose to be there. When they left the Soviet Union, they ended up over there. I ended up over here. And people are trying to scrap out a living and try to figure out what's going on. To me, I don't really know what to say. It's like we have one apartment in Queens. My great-grandfather used to live there. He got kicked out of it. Then I go over there, and there's somebody living there, and then I move in, and I say, this is mine, this is yours, but I lived here. I've been paying rent for 6 months. But my grandfather had it stolen, or this and that. Kind of looks like that. Who does it belong to? I don't really know. What should you do about it? I wouldn't be able to say. Maybe the panel will be able to help me out. So this is our panel here. Monica, Veronica, and Boris. People that jumped into Trax News that wanted to be a part of it and they got an opinion. Starting with Boris, so real briefly, quickly, what are your thoughts on this, man?
Well, where do I even begin? The Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I just like Max. I have family in Israel, but at the same time, I was part of the Arab-Israeli Peace Alliance at Boston University, and I got to see firsthand the conflict between the groups, between the left-wing groups, which are oftentimes pro-Palestine, and then the right-wing groups that are pro-Israel and stuff. This is a very delicate issue. I mean, I don't think Donald Trump is doing any good of a job by moving the embassy to Jerusalem, which he did in the beginning of his term. I think he's supporting Israel's continued annexation of Palestinian territories. And this article that Max put up, I'm just going to say that it's not up on the site yet, but it's going to be on the site. So this is like an exclusive peek at Sisesco's article. And she speaks a lot about her experience with the Palestinians. And she's pro-Palestinian, so the article comes from that perspective. So stay tuned to it.
Can you tell us a little something about what she's been saying? Can you pass me
that
for a second?
Yeah. You want to see it? Sure. I mean, I could summarize it a little bit.
Just a little something.
Okay, so she basically says that Donald Trump's acceptance of Israel's policy of annexation is pretty much making the two-state solution completely impossible, but even the one-state solution that a lot of activists, a lot of liberal leading activists are saying that it might be better to just have one state with everybody having the same rights and it not being a Jewish state, it being a state for Palestinians and Israelis living together. She's saying that even that is going to be impossible if Israel keeps on annexing territory with the approval of the UK and America.
Yeah, I think that Bibi Netanyahu's official position is two-state solution, but I think what he's doing is basically ethnic cleansing. He wants to create, he wants to have one state, which is Israeli state, but he doesn't want Palestinians to be involved in that state. He wants to push them in Lebanon or something, I don't know, or Jordan. And it's a very controversial topic in general. Like whenever you talk about Israel and Palestine, you have really vigorous debate. People argue, scream, and yell. And I feel like my official position is that I do think it should be a two-state solution. I don't believe in a one state where Israelis and Palestinians will peacefully coexist. It's not going to happen. there's too much history in there, and you know, like with Jews, I understand where they're coming from. They've been persecuted for thousands of years, and they have a reason to believe that they need a state where they can always come back to. But at the same time, pushing Palestinians out of their homes is not going to be a solution to that. You're just going to, first of all, international community is never going to come on board with that, and you're just gonna have a lot of resentment towards Israel. And the other issue that I want to talk about is that Palestinians don't actually have any representation in American media. Like, anyone who speaks out in favor of Palestinian issues gets shunned and like fired or loses their job. That's a cancel culture for you, by the way.
Look at the Bernie campaign.
Sanders was the first person who actually refused to go to AIPAC, and that was an admirable thing to do because, and you know, he's Jewish and he had family members who perished in Holocaust. But like Mark Lamont Hill, he was a CNN contributor. He said something about Palestine, like not very controversial too. He lost his job at CNN, and I feel like there's